You're watching News Channel 8.
The station on your side.
Live, this is News Channel 8 today at 11 on your side.
Good morning, I'm Stacy Scheibel. Right now at 11, storm debris piling up and Pinellas County landfills not accepting drop-offs. Now the governor says he is stepping in to fix issues with dumping debris. Plus, help from the federal government. The president expected to arrive in Tallahassee in about the next 15 minutes to tour Florida's storm damage. Side on our tower cam, but we want to look at how many people have signed up for FEMA assistance. Yeah, we're going to tell you about that here in just a second. More than 31,600 people have signed up for FEMA assistance so far, and we want to let you know that there is a FEMA center open at Largo Public Library to help you apply. 100 people still in 2 county shelters, and available housing options are now something you can check on the county website. They're opening an insurance village in Clearwater over the weekend, so all good information if you're still looking for immediate help. Meantime, neighbors who call Bradenton Beach home are now able to return to the barrier island for the first time since Hurricane Helene. You can see in this video from Eagle 8 HD, the island is in rough shape. And as 8 on your side's Beth Russo shows us, not everyone will be allowed back on the island. In Pinellas County, home security footage shows just how powerful that storm surge that Helene caused was. Take a look at that video. Fortunately, the owner of this home was not there at the time. Oh my goodness. But the house on St. Pete's Venetian Isles was significantly damaged. The homeowner says she and her family had evacuated just in time to avoid the worst of it.
We love it here. You know, I mean, it's hard to believe this is the same ocean that, you know, came through the house. It's beautiful and it's devastating. So we want to stay, and what that looks like, we're not entirely sure yet.
They say the cleanup and repairs are going to take some time. Neighbors in Johns Pass and Tierra Verde still don't have access to running water. The county is working to restore service after storm surge knocked out pumping stations. Many also don't have power yet. Crews are working to restore service, and workers from other areas around the state are pitching in to help. County officials say if you do have water service issues, contact the county. They are waiving permitting fees and inspection fees to get the work done faster. Also in Pinellas County, concerns about debris pickup are leading to some potential changes. 8 on your side's Chloe Sparks explains the concerns people have and the trash pickup that's now underway. Hundreds of service industry workers are now out of work after several beachfront bars and restaurants were destroyed by Helene. This comes ahead of what is typically the start of the busy season for bars like Candy's and Caddy's. The owner of Candy's says they didn't have flood insurance and the rebuild will be tough. He says many people, though, have stepped up to help his business.
Overwhelming. You know, I mean, it's heartwarming and heartbreaking. I think is probably the best you can say about it.
That Candy Kitchen is a staple there, and at Caddy's, the owners had to lay off their entire staff because the damage is so extensive. For those who need to file for disaster unemployment assistance, we do have a link at WFLA.com. Neighbors in Tampa tell us that scavengers are roaming communities and just helping themselves to flood-damaged items left at the curb. And while Tampa police say they are patrolling to prevent looting, they say what these scavengers are doing technically is not looting. The difference is looting involves going into someone's home or other enclosed area.
We have not had any true reports of looting, when property or things are placed on the curbside and people will come through and take a look at the property. It's not necessarily looting.
And police recommend if you want to avoid your items being possible. FEMA officials say more recovery centers will open in Pinellas County in the coming days, but for now, only one is open in the county, and that is at Largo Public Library. FEMA officials say statewide more than 70,000 aid applications have been filled out, with more than $3.5 million distributed. We have a full list of open FEMA sites on our News Channel 8 app. And it's 11:08 on this Thursday. Let's check in. We've been watching, I can only describe it as that blob or something that wants to form in the Gulf of Mexico. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, it does look like the forecast models continue to keep that weak, so that's good news, but we're keeping those rain chances elevated starting on Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday of next week. But we have rain chances in the forecast starting today for our coastal counties. So if you're continuing those cleanup efforts, watch for those building clouds in the afternoon and evening. Right now, we're still in that warm-up process. Unfortunately, it is very muggy. We're at 86 along Bayshore, but it's this easterly wind that's going to help to drive those storms to our coast this evening, as opposed to keeping them east of I-75, which is where they have been. Max Defender 8 radar tracking a couple of those downpours just east of the turnpike right now, but they are going to meander in our direction. So you can see these rain chances today. They're highest along and west of I-75. So those storms will be scattered between about 2 and 4, and then they're really going to start to drift toward the coast, and we'll see some of those higher rainfall totals right along the coast this evening. Yes, they are going to contain some gusty winds and lightning as possible as well. Before those storms arrive, though, it's toasty. We get up to about 91, a little bit of a light breeze, and unfortunately it is humid. I'll talk more about that tropical system, possible tropical system, coming up here in just a few. Stacey.
All right. Thanks, Amanda. Today in Manatee County's Cortez Fishing Village, neighbors are helping each other with basic supplies and goods. The Church of Christ is offering storm victims food and cleaning supplies, as well as clothing and dry shoes. Slicker's Eatery on Cortez Road has transformed part of its space into a hub for donation. On that fishing village of Cortez, they can't work because their boats were destroyed. The Humane Society of Tampa Bay wants to make sure pets are fed while you work to recover. Its pet pantry is now open every day, offering free food for your cats and dogs. Donations are also being accepted to keep that pantry stocked. NewsChannel 8 is partnering with the Red Cross to help neighbors recovering from the hurricane. You can make a donation by scanning the QR code on your screen or by going to our website, WFLA.com/relief. That money that is donated will stay in Florida. Coming up, something we need to do right now. Red tide detected in the Gulf. We're going to tell you where experts are keeping an eye on a toxic algae bloom. Plus, worries grow over the effects of that ongoing port strike. The impacts right here at Port Tampa Bay. And the Bucks take the field tonight for a Thursday night game in Atlanta. What they can expect and what you can expect in this key divisional matchup. And Rooted in Progress is back today, honoring Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You can watch Deanne King speak to local survivor Alicia Henry Harris as she shares her story of surviving breast cancer while pregnant. You can watch today's Rooted podcast on the WFLA Facebook page and WFLAnow.com. Be sure to like and follow it on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Keeping you safe, the Max Defender 8 weather team on News Channel 8. You're watching News Channel 8 Today with Stacey Scheibel and meteorologist Amanda Holly.
Pinellas County officials are working to figure out what's causing a red tide bloom in the Gulf. They are not sure if Hurricane Helene is to blame. Officials say medium concentrations of red tide have been found off St. Pete Beach, Madeira Beach, and the Dunedin Causeway. Low levels have been found off Pass-a-Grille and Honeymoon Island. It's also not known when the conditions will improve. Well, shipping along the east and Gulf coasts are at a standstill as the port workers continue to strike. Thousands of U.S. dock workers walked off the job early Tuesday morning after failing to come to an agreement with the U.S. Maritime Alliance. 8 on Your Side investigator Brittany Muller reports from Port Tampa Bay. Port Tampa Bay is the busiest port in Florida, handling more than 25 million tons of goods so far this year. Overall, the port is the 21st busiest in the nation. Most of what the port takes in is fuel, with more than 13 million tons of petroleum brought in so far this year alone. Time now to check in on your weather. Let's go to meteorologist Amanda Holly.
Yeah, we are keeping an eye on the tropics. It still remains very active out there. We have Kirk and Leslie way out in the Atlantic. They're both very likely to be a very powerful major hurricane right now and continuing to strengthen. So just an interesting storm way out in the Atlantic, but no concern to us here in the United States. What we are watching is this area in the Gulf of Mexico. Still, I told you yesterday we're going to be watching it for a while. That continues to be the case. National Hurricane Center, though, has dropped their chances of development down to a 30%. And that's because, well, as the moisture moves into the Gulf of Mexico, it's going to try and develop, but it has a few factors going against it. Yes, there is warm waters in the Gulf of Mexico. We know those waters are very warm, but it's only a marginally favorable environment because those upper level winds are going to be much stronger than they were when Helene moved into the Gulf of Mexico. So these hostile winds continue to keep it weak. We do have some agreement on that with those forecast models, but where they disagree is where this very broad, weak area of low pressure is going to cross the state. So if it crosses the state farther to our north, like the latest GFS is suggesting, well, more of our area is going to see more rain Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday of next week. If it crosses farther to the south, well, South Florida is going to get in on some of that heavy rain, and we're not going to see quite as much. At the moment, though, we do have high rain chances because it's certainly a possibility for us to see about 3 to 6 inches of rain Sunday through Tuesday of next week. Today's rain chances, just average summertime chances. We're seeing those clouds building right now in Apollo Beach, but what we're going to see happen over the next few hours are those sea breeze storms from the east coast are going to drive into our coast. A couple of isolated showers possible around the 2-3 o'clock hour along the coast, but the bigger activity is going to be in the evening after 4 p.m. We'll see those storms making their way toward the coast, so please be watching for that both today and tomorrow. Scattered activity expected on Saturday there as well. Stacey.
All right, thanks, Amanda. Right now, voting is underway for the 10th annual Fat Bear Week contest at Alaska's Katmai National Park and Preserve. The bracket this year features 12 big bears. 8 will face off against each other in the first round, and 4 received byes to the second round. Adult brown bears, if you didn't know, typically weigh between 600 and 900 pounds. And by the time they're ready to hibernate, it's not unusual for them to weigh over 1,000 pounds. I think there are a lot of good contestants there from what I could tell.
Yeah, they look happy, they look healthy.
They're well fed up there.
Gonna be a little plumper.
Yes, they are. We'll keep tabs on that.
Yeah, for sure.
We need a little release from what's going on here anyway. Coming up, the Rays may be on a new TV network next year. Why? They are going to be dropped from Bally Sports, most likely. That's still to come right here on News Channel 8 today at 11.
Max Defender 8 Weather is sponsored by the Law Office of Catania and Catania.
News Channel 8 is your official Bucks station, and get ready for a big showdown tonight on Thursday Night Football between the Bucks and the Atlanta Falcons. Both teams are coming off big wins on Sunday. 8 on your sides. Dan Lucas has some insight on the Bucks' injury status ahead of the divisional matchup. And if you like to run or walk, remember to register for the Run for Fun 5K. It's our farewell to Lee Spann. The meteorologist is leaving us next month, and the 5K in Lee's honor will be held Sunday, October 20th at Al Lopez Park. You can sign up on our app or our website. We'll be back with more right after this.
Live, this is News Channel 8 today at 11 on your side.
Right now at 11:30, some hometown heroes see newly released video from first responders as they rescue an elderly couple from the hurricane. Plus, storm victims are starting to navigate the complicated process of filing insurance claims. Now the state is opening up a local insurance village to help. And just 32 days to go until the general election, and mail-in ballots are going out to local voters today. Hi, Eileen is nearing 200, and a dozen of those deaths were in Pinellas County. 93-year-old Margaret McGarrigle is the 12th confirmed death in Pinellas. Authorities say they recovered her body from a home in Treasure Island. A family member says her son was with her during the storm.
He had sandbagged the house as the water started to come in. My brother is still, he stayed in the house. He tried to resuscitate her.
If you're struggling in the aftermath of the hurricane, you can call the Disaster Distress Helpline. It's open 24/7, and that phone number is 1-800-985-5990. And we are now getting an inside look at rescue efforts during Helene. Sarasota police released this body cam footage of 4 officers helping an elderly couple out of their Siesta Key home when the stormwater started to rise.
Don't reach out for anything, just stay still. We've got you, okay? Just relax and don't panic. We're gonna lean you back in the chair and we're gonna bring you down the stairs.
Police say the couple's granddaughter called about her grandfather running out of oxygen and her grandmother being stuck on the 2nd floor of that home. The couple was taken to the hospital where they were reunited with family members. And starting today, the city of Gulfport will begin collecting storm debris, and officials say you do not need to make or submit a request for pickup because the whole city will be covered. They will also ask you, though, to separate storm debris from normal trash, as they will be picked up separately in front of your home. Debris collection could take several weeks, if not months. Residents hit by Hurricane Helene are working to prevent any further damage. Many are waiting on their insurance to help pay for the renovations, but that insurance process can be complicated. 8 on your side, reporter Shannon Bankin has some important tips for storm victims to help you navigate the process. And if you need something as simple as a meal and some water as you recover from the hurricane, the Salvation Army is offering free lunch and dinner today and tomorrow, happening from noon to 6 at the Emergency Disaster Mobile Canteen at the Gandy Civic Association Comfort Station in South Tampa. Starting today, neighbors in Pasco County, well, they can get a free supply kit to help with recovery. Volunteers are handing out ready-made meals, diapers, cleaning supplies, and hygiene kits. The giveaway is happening every day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. until October 17th at Our Lady Queen of Peace Church. That's on High Street in Newport Richey. Time now at 11:35 to check on your weather. We know it's going to start raining this weekend, but for now, things look pretty nice out there, Amanda.
Yeah, we are starting the days out dry over the next couple of days, but those rain chances, they are going to be on the rise as an area of low pressure crosses the state. Now, whether it has a name or not, that is still to be determined. We're working out those details. Even if it does have a name right now, all indications are that it would be very weak. It's going to be breezy for a couple of days, and we're just going to get some more rain, which I know is not something that we need. But it is dry out there right now. It's a live look out in Polk County. That east breeze, though, it's a different direction today, and it's going to drive the storms across the state into our coastline this evening. So that is a change from the past couple of days, and unfortunately, we are going to see some downpours moving into those harder hit areas today. So make sure you're keeping an eye on the skies and watching those building clouds moving in your direction. Notice the timing here. We're starting to see some of those showers way over on the East Coast, and they're going to be driving in our direction this evening. So the spotty afternoon rain, yeah, it's going to be breezy through Saturday, but no major changes there. The models, though, that we keep watching for that tropical low, yep, they keep it weak in the Gulf for next week, but right now we got high rain chances Sunday through Wednesday. Stacy.
All right, thanks, Amanda. And while families come together to recover from Helene, the same is true for neighbors to our north, closer to where the eye of Helene made landfall. Senators, they have issued a joint letter to the Department of Agriculture to issue grants to farmers there who suffered damage, one of whom is Sherry Platt, whose ranch in the Big Bend area suffered damage from Helene and from Idalia last year. She says she has still not received money from Idalia's impacts.
I think the government really needs to help us, and I mean, they need to just not trickle down. They need to really provide us. I mean, we had to turn in a lot of information, try to verify it, to try to get that help, which we haven't gotten yet.
Platt tells us despite the damage, she's hopeful they will recover. News Channel 8 is your local election headquarters, and President Biden, Vice President Harris, and presidential candidate former President Donald Trump are all touring storm damage this week as tensions heat up in the Middle East and as new evidence is released in Trump's election interference case. Alice Barr with the very latest now from Washington. And with the November election just a little more than a month away, mail-in ballots are being sent out in Hillsborough and Pinellas counties today. Mail-in ballots can either be sent in or dropped off at a secure ballot intake station or the supervisor of elections office. If you would still like to get a mail-in ballot, you have until the 24th to request one. Well, of course, many local events had to be canceled or postponed because of the hurricane. Coming up in this week's For the Culture, Deanne introduces us to the creator of the postponed Black Authors Expo and how that event hopes to help aspiring writers achieve their dreams. It's 11:41 and here's a peek outside right now. It's quiet outside, but Amanda is going to have much more coming up on when we might expect to see some rain this weekend. Well, Hurricane Helene forced many events to reschedule. That includes the 3rd annual Black Authors Expo. In this week's For the Culture, Deanne King shares that while the date may have changed, its mission is the same, to amplify Black and brown voices. Right now, Governor Ron DeSantis is on Anna Maria Island giving an update on the devastation there. Let's listen in. Right now, you are listening to Governor Ron DeSantis. He is live on Anna Maria Island with the very latest on recovery efforts there. Boy, there's a lot of devastation on all of these barrier islands. If you'd like to continue to watch his press conference, you can do so online at WFLA.com or on our Facebook page. But right now, we're going to head over to Amanda for a look at what we have churning out there in the Gulf that's headed our way this weekend.
Yeah, a lot of folks continue to ask about this and continue to want updates on it. Very understandably so. We are watching it very closely. And luckily, all trends are continuing to keep whatever moves into the Gulf of Mexico for next week, Sunday through Wednesday, very weak. That's why the National Hurricane Center has lowered their chance of development. It's now a low chance of development. So we're really, right now, the forecast looks like we're either looking at rain with a name or without a name. It is likely going to be breezy as well. So what's going to happen? This tropical moisture is going to move into the Gulf. We know it's going to try and take advantage of those warm waters. That's what areas of low pressure do. But we're going to see this front that's dropping down into the Gulf to prevent this area of low pressure from organizing. It's pretty much why those forecast models continue to try and keep it weak. But regardless, whether it's an organized area of low pressure or not, it does look like it's going to cross the state. The problem, the question mark now, is how much moisture are we going to see? Is the low going to cross down to our south or up to our north? And that is going to lead to changes in those forecast numbers of how much rain we're going to see. Main impacts right now look like Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That's why we have those elevated rain chances there. So we will keep an eye on that. Stacey?
All right, Amanda. Well, President Joe Biden has just landed in Tallahassee in Air Force One. This is a live look. He plans to tour some of the devastated areas there right in the Big Bend of Florida. As you know, Tallahassee was expected to take a direct hit from the storm. It did not. Tallahassee was largely spared, but parts near Perry, Florida, absolutely devastated. So yes, President Joe Biden is going to tour that today. We'll have much more on the presidential visit coming up tonight. And right now we have a segment we call Epic Discounts. Fair and Hip has this week's deals. If you'd like more information, you can scan the QR code on your screen. You can also go to our website. We do want to point out WFLA receives a portion of the profits from Epic Discounts. We'll be right back. We have a final look at some of our top stories this morning. As we've shown you, President Biden is in the Tallahassee area. He is going to be touring the damage there. And Governor Ron DeSantis right now is in Anna Maria Island looking at the devastation there and trying to help lift people up after Hurricane Helene. This morning, people in Bradenton Beach are getting a first look at the damage caused by the hurricane now that officials are allowing them back on the island. Not everyone will be allowed in that area, though. Officials say you need to have proof that you're a resident or a business owner. Contractors, debris haulers, restoration companies are allowed through a special checkpoint. And that does it for us. We have much more continuing coverage on all of the devastation. You can find that online at WFLA.com and much more coming up today at 4. All right, thanks, Amanda, and have a great day. We'll see you then.